Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, or you've been here before but haven't subscribed yet, please do so, along with hitting that thumbs up button for me and dropping your comments. You'll probably have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this bitter loss. It was a rough loss. Does kind of feel like there was some refereeing intervention on behalf of the San Antonio Spurs, especially when you consider that the Knicks, in an overtime game, only went to the free throw line 12 times. 12 times compared to 32 times for the San Antonio Spurs. And by the way, this is on a night when Mr. Jalen Brunson right there lit them up for 61 points. Unbelievable, incredible. There were moments that he almost broke Carmelo's record of 62. He had a couple chances, just didn't have enough. There was obviously, of course, fatigue sets in, but adrenaline is also there. It was an amazing fourth quarter, an amazing second half to watch. Some things happen at the end. I just don't really understand why Precious, didn't just go up and try to either dunk the ball or try to, at least maybe a floater, maybe with a left-handed off the backboard. Wembanyama was behind him. He had already pushed him in that final play, and it could have tied the score. Instead, he fireballed the ball out to Dante, who was trying to set himself up. Wasn't even ready for that pass, and there were only 3 seconds left in the game at that moment, and the score was only 2. So any bucket gets us to another time. Maybe we go to second overtime. That's probably the Wembanyama effect, the Wemby effect. I got highlights for you guys. I even have that one play to show you guys. But let's get into it here. One thing also, if you noticed, having that watch party, if you haven't if you haven't seen my videos before talking about it, April 7th, if you're in Los Angeles or Southern California, come up and join us. It's going to be a blast. Where it's going to be the Knicks versus Bucks game, which could have a lot of significance. Though tonight's loss definitely hurts it a little bit in terms of what the Knicks can actually achieve in terms of trying to get that second seed. Right now, unfortunately, the Knicks are back and forth seed right now. All right, let's get to it. Here we go. Knicks lost 130 to 126. That was because the Knicks had the foul, put them on the line, so they got those extra 2 points. But the score was 128-126 at the time. You know what? Let's go look at this play. Let's look at this play right now. You guys tell me what you guys think about this.
Brunson looking, finds Achua. Brunson's going to come and get it back. 11 seconds remaining. They're looking to double. Brunson steps back, puts up a three. Off the back of the rim. Achua the rebound. Back out, DiVincenzo. Couldn't handle it out of bounds.
Boy.
Spurs ball with 3.1.
So here we go. Brunson inbounds the ball. Just so you know, Mitch was taken out. Ihart had fouled out. Mitch was subbed for Precious right here. Exactly what we wanted to happen. Precious gets the rebound. He thinks about going up, but because he senses Wemby next to him, I think that was a mistake. I think he should have forced Wemby to foul him or forced Wemby to get the block. Nobody was set up. He didn't even have a good look at Dante to see where he was. Here we go. Now, could Dante have made a heroic effort and caught that ball? It would have been awesome. You see, Ihart had fouled out. This is the game right here. Is the game. Right here, would I like to have seen a different play called instead of that? Maybe a screen. High pick and roll for Brunson. Set him loose so he can start driving on the left side. A lot of options. This one ended up not working for us tonight. Very, very disappointing. The Knicks snap a 3-game winning streak, and the Spurs go on a 3-game winning streak. But shout out to the Spurs. They came out firing. They were dominating the Knicks in the first quarter. The Knicks looked lethargic. They were not actually closing out on a perimeter the way they should. They let the Spurs go off for 6 for 11 in that first quarter from the three-point line. We're talking about the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA. Maybe they took that a little too seriously. Maybe they were like, we don't have to close out as hard. These guys can't shoot. Well, guess what? Boom. And then Knicks were down 11 right away. It was 30. It gave 38 points to the San Antonio Spurs in the first quarter. So they were down 38-27. They did recover in that second quarter, which we'll get into. We'll talk about it when we're looking at the highlights. But this is truly a tough, tough loss, especially on the eve of a tremendous offensive display, one of the greatest of all time for a Knick. One of the greatest offensive displays of all time. Look at that, 61 points, 25 of 47 shooting. The man was just unbelievable, the Brunson burner, and we needed it because the rest of the team was struggling. Brunson shot 53.2% overall and hit 5 of 13 from the three-point line. He did miss a couple threes towards in overtime and towards the close of the regulation. That's fatigue starts setting in. It's going to happen. But when you look at what the other players did, we needed every single point, everything he did. He was just unbelievable tonight. It was outstanding to watch. It's just really disappointing that we lost this game. We would be flying so high based off this performance. It would just be awesome. And I just can't revel in it that much. It's an amazing achievement, but when it comes on a tough loss like that, it's hard to really enjoy it. Let's keep moving here. Stephen Bondi, this is interesting because I was talking about the refs. Thibodeau really frustrated again with the officiating, especially the non-calls on Brunson. Now there was quote, a foul is a foul. I don't know what else to say. That's what Thib said, and I know the exact one he was talking about. It was exactly a minute left, and Brunson drove left towards the basket, and I think it was Jones. He was riding him, bumping him pretty hard. Just biting him. Now, he didn't touch him with his hands. There might have been some hand contact as well as he was driving around him. But then he was just kind of bumping him, and he hit him pretty hard. Now, Brunson, because he's so strong, was able to finish the shot. But he was complaining the whole way back up the court, raising his hands. Where's the call? Where's the call? Where's the call? Exactly. Where was the call? Where were the calls, refs? Now, I got to say, I don't like this whole gambling situation with the refereeing. There's too much going on right now. This really annoyed me because this disparity of foul calling, basically they gave the Spurs 20 additional foul attempts today. 20 additional ones. How does that happen? To the New York Knicks. New York Knicks are one of the leading teams at getting to the foul line, the free throw line. Unfortunate. And then I tweeted out, this is basically talking about that last play I just showed you. Why didn't Precious just slam that ball down or put up a 3-foot floater, instead of fireballing it to DiVincenzo down 2 with 3 seconds left in this game? Don't understand that. Don't understand it at all. Force Wembanyama to foul you, or you know what? Take one dribble, boom, slam it to Wembanyama and dunk that shit, Show something. And here's the other question. Should he have been in the game subbing for Mitch? Was Thibs concerned about the fouling situation? Would they foul Mitch and put him on the line? Or did he need some, let's say they weren't able to get anything going and anyone could shoot it at that point. Now, obviously, Mitch doesn't really have an outside shot at the time that you can depend. But still, for the exact end result, Mitch would have been better. Now, Mitch was hobbled. Mitch was limping. He landed awkwardly when he tried to do a putback or something. I can't remember. He landed awkwardly kind of late in the fourth quarter, but he gutted out because Isaiah Hartenstein fouled out. He had fouled out. So he had to battle. And I don't know. I think a couple of mistakes were done at the end. I think even Thibs suffered with some fatigue. Too many minutes for Thibs. Here, what I'm talking about. New York Knicks are now 44-29. They are a half game behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. Of course, Cleveland on Twitter, they're going crazy, mocking us and all that stuff. It's okay. Enjoy this moment. There's a lot of time left. Lots of time left. We'll see who ends up in that third seed. We will see. All right. Let's get to the highlights. Here we go. As I mentioned, look, we were down 7-0 right off the bat. Dante DiVincenzo. I actually was hoping we could get a little more from him. He only put up 13 shot attempts overall today. He was 6 of 12 from the three-point line, so he shot 50%. Decent volume, but we needed more from him. We needed more in the in-between game, like that. We needed more of that. I think just Wembanyama just got into these guys' heads, and that shows how he impacted the game. He ended up picking up only one block tonight. Only one block. But the way that he plays and the amount of space he takes up, it just really intimidates and impacts players. It just can't say that enough. So here the Knicks finally started battling back, started making some buckets. As you can see, look at that. The score was we were only down 1, and then we let the Spurs go on a little run there to close the first quarter, to go up by 11 in that first quarter. Brunson finished with 11 points in the first quarter, and Dante had 8. So it looked like Dante was, about to have a big game. Didn't end up that way. He did finish with 20 points overall, so that means he scored 12 points in the last 3 quarters and the OT. Not that great for a team that's still missing, their starting small forward. They're missing their starting power forward. Offense has to come from somewhere. These guys got to get creative, and Dante has been doing it. He's been on fire lately. He's just been unbelievable. Unfortunately, it didn't carry over to tonight. And we allowed the Spurs to get comfortable too early. Here we are in the second quarter. Lead is 15 points. Nice play. Here's Bojan with the only bucket he made. Bojan was also a tremendous disappointment. Burks was hurt, did not play tonight, or was it personal reason? I can't remember exactly. But Bojan, 2 of 7 tonight. 0 for 3 from the three-point line. Come on, the bench only came through with 19 points tonight. 19 points, and this game they played a total of, 19 points, and they played 53 minutes. 53 minutes of play. When you compare that to the Spurs doubled up. The Spurs bench doubled up the Knicks bench. They scored 38 on us. We only scored 19 on them. Rough. Here we start closing out, even though they did make. Oh, actually, he didn't make that. That was a putback by Champagne. Again, where's the box out? But there was a good closeout by Josh Hart there on the three-point line in the corner there. This is just sick. What can you do? When you have a 7'1,000" guy doing that, I mean, that's just unbelievable. But then look at that. I'm sure they feel the same way about Brunson. And it was such a great battle back and forth. I'm sure San Antonio is just loving this. You know what? Good for them. It's their first season with Wembanyama. They haven't had many wins. What do they have? 18 wins or something? But this is a third win in a row for them, so they're starting to find a groove. But talk about in a groove. Jalen Brunson was just unbelievable tonight. Unbelievable. I'm annoyed and sad for us that we can't revel in his display, and I'm actually even more bummed for him, because that's something. When you achieve that level of greatness, it should also come with a W. Because you'll never truly love that moment if you're a guy like Brunson, who cares more about winning than personal goals. If you ended up with an L at the end of that game. Deuce struggled offensively tonight. He did play 46 minutes, and he was definitely fatigued. He had nothing left in the tank towards the end of that fourth quarter, and he saw they go out there and play that overtime. He was only 3 of 9 overall, 1 of 4 from the three-point line, 7 points. Did pick up 4 steals. That was beautiful. One major steal towards the end of, was it an OT or fourth quarter? I can't remember. It was one key steal. Oh, there you go. Right there. It was in the fourth quarter. While the Knicks are trying to make that comeback, trying to get back and tie this game and maybe even take the lead. Here we go. And this is a beautiful moment here. This is where you start feeling good. You start thinking, yeah, the Knicks are going to do it. I actually thought at no point did I think the Knicks were going to lose this game until overtime, until the way we began overtime. We just didn't look good. We looked tired. It was almost like I wish they had just kept playing. They called the whistle, regulation, and then immediately go jump ball and keep playing, because we just weren't as sharp Look at that. Another nice play right there by Deuce. So he was doing other things to help the team, and then he gets the assist here. Beautiful basically cross-court pass to Dante. Watching this play here. Oh, look at that. That was great. So here we're tied 115. Just under 3 minutes left. And Brunson gives us the first lead. The first lead of the entire game. Oh, that was rough. We got burned. Deuce closed out a little too hard. Vassell, he had himself a nice game. But when you look at his efficiency, it wasn't that great in the end. He needed 22 shot attempts to give them 23 points. Oh, there we go. That's the play I was talking about. He got bumped right there. Jalen Brunson got bumped right there, and no call. But they get this call. And then he goes and shoots, hits them both. And then a crazy thing happened in overtime. So this was the last play of overtime. Nice, clean look, but it went to Deuce, who just had nothing left in the tank. It's unfortunate that he was the one there. Even at that point, because that's the one thing, even though Bojan has been terrible, he was kind of fresh. So maybe let him take that shot. And he's a killer. He's a killer from the outside, though he's been killing us. There you go. Another a goaltend was called, which I don't think should have been a goaltend. There you go. Another foul. No call. No call right there. Now here we're getting down to the last few seconds of this game. This was really a tough moment. Deuce falls. Clean look for Wemby, and he had to take it because the shot clock was running down, and he buries the three, and he walks down with some swagger. But then Brunson comes back, gets it up, and Mitch gets fouled. He hit 1 of 2, so now we're down 2 points. Oh, they didn't show the play in these highlights. They didn't show you the play that I showed you. Oh, yeah, and that's the final there. If we end up the 4th seed, this game is going to haunt us. This game is going to haunt us because we shouldn't have gotten down 21 points to the San Antonio Spurs. We shouldn't have taken them lightly in that first half, given them good looks at the basket and let them get comfortable, which they did. They ended up shooting 40% from the three-point line for the game, but in that first half, they were shooting 50%. They were 10 of 20. So we let them get really comfortable. They lit us up for 74 points in the first half. How do you allow a San Antonio Spurs team like this to score 74 points on you? Now, Isaiah Hartenstein did get into foul trouble. He picked up 3 quick fouls. So then we had to bring in Mitch, and this was a tough second game for Mitch to play against a guy like Wemby. Here we go to the stats right here. It's a tough second game for him to play against him, and Isaiah landed really hard on his wrist at one point. Had to get heavily taped, and I thought he was out of the game. He ended up staying in the game, and then Mitch, he did something to his ankle. I'm sure we're going to hear about it. So this game may, I don't want to, but it may have been a lot costlier for us than we wanted it to be, other than just the loss. So let's hope, fingers crossed, nothing happens with Mitch. They just give him some treatment, and same for Isaiah, and they're just good to go for the next game, which is against OKC on Sunday, and I believe that's a home game. So this was a weird little 2-game road trip. Knicks went up to Toronto, and then that flight all the way from Canada down to San Antonio was brutal, really tough turnaround, and the Knicks came out looking tired. They were looking like an old team in that first quarter. But they recovered, but it wasn't quite enough. And I got to say, shout out to the Spurs. They kept making smart decisions on the defensive end, and they kept making smart decisions on the offensive end. They were not forcing shots, and it shows because they ended up shooting, in the first half, they shot almost 60% overall. But for the game, they ended up shooting 53.7%. Wowza. And the Knicks shot 46.4%. As you can see here, I've rattled off a lot of these stats, but look at that, 61. It's almost like, what? What is that? 61 for him, 20 for Dante, 12 rebounds for Josh Hart. Josh Hart, 2 of 5 from the three-point line, but I felt like he passed up looks. He was only 2 of 8 inside the arc, and we need him. We need him to feast around the rim. Just didn't have it. Again, it was the Wembanyama factor, especially when you think Wemby only had 1 block, so it wasn't like it was a blockathon and these guys didn't know what to do. They should have challenged him more. So there we go. Here's the plus minus. So I know that Mitch was a minus 10 there, and he got subbed out, but he got subbed out for the guy who was a minus 30. Precious. Another game. I know Precious had a decent game recently, a couple decent, but he has been struggling of late, and there's more evidence right there. Down 30. So in the almost 16 minutes that Precious played, the Knicks were outscored by 30 points. Oh, that is crazy. That is mind-blowing. Oh, my God. Wow. But look at Dante. He was a minus 10. Isaiah was a plus 10. Brunson a plus 20. And Josh Hart, even though I wish he had given us more offensively, he was a plus 20. Could have made a major, major difference. The bench really let us down tonight, except for Mitch. Mitch came through. In his 20 minutes of play, he picked up 12 rebounds. Yeah, 12 rebounds. 7 of them were offensive, but he missed some bunnies around the hoop. And there were who else missed some bunnies? There was just some really. There was a possession. They didn't show it here, where Josh Hart and Deuce were at the rim. They got offensive rebounds, and they just couldn't get the putback. And again, I think they're just rushing. I don't know if Wemby was on the court, but they just gets them out of their rhythm. They just could not finish properly tonight. San Antonio Spurs, you can see, shout out to Wembanyama, 40 points for him, 20 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 more assists. He has a triple-double. Really, guy makes good decisions. His putbacks are crazy. Man, he's just a tremendous, tremendous player. Generational talent. During the broadcast, the way Clyde described him, he basically described Wembanyama as the perfect player. I can't remember the exact words he used. I'm sure it's out there on the internet by now. I'll look it up. I'll try and have it for you the next time. It was a really great description because people kept asking, what do you think of him? What do you think of him? And man, I think he nailed it, unfortunately, for the rest of the NBA. Here are the team stats comparisons. The Knicks did out-rebound the Spurs 50-46, so that was great. But the Spurs had 34 assists. They just kept that ball moving. Like I said, they made the right plays, got themselves easier looks. The fast break was pretty even, 22-19. Even though we did struggle in terms of efficiency, we did win the battle in the paint, 62-46, but that's really Brunson. That was really Brunson. Sorry, I was trying to suppress a burp. Didn't want to lay it out here in the microphone and blow your eardrums out. The largest lead for the Spurs was 21. Ours was 2. Fuck. But look at that free throw disparity. That is crazy. The refs, and they didn't even show they didn't show that play in the highlights either. How they called a jump ball interference on Robinson, and we had won the tip. Terrible. The watch party again, calling all Knicks LA fans, Knicks fans in LA. Sorry. Sunday, April 7th, 4 p.m. I'll be there earlier. If you guys want to come a little earlier, we can talk it up before the game starts. I'll be there probably around 3, and it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a good vibe. Hope you guys can join. It'd be excellent to see you guys, meet you guys in person, put some faces to the chats and stuff and the messages, which I really appreciate all the comments and the support you guys give to the channel. It's awesome. We're over 8,400 subscribers, trying to get to 10,000. So if you're watching this and haven't subscribed, please do so, and turn on the notification bell so you're alerted when I go live. And also hit that thumbs up button for me. And drop your comments. Want to hear all about that. And share this video. Please share the video. That helps me as well. And Sunday, the Knicks are looking to get back on track against the OKC. Let's go. All right. Thank you for watching this. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.